Saagar, what are you looking at?
I spend a lot of time here criticizing Joe Biden. Rightfully so, I think. It's always important, as we did with Trump, or though with any politician. If they do something right or in the right direction, let's give them as much due attention and highlight how their new victory could spur another more important step that is vital for our country. Let's start with the good and important news. If you'll recall, the CHIPS Act, which spurred billions of dollars in new investment for the semiconductor industry here in the U.S., there were a few big and gaping problems. First amongst them was that while the bill itself was designed to protect U.S. competition for China in the critical chip sector, it didn't include enough provisions to actually stop Chinese money from infiltrating U.S. supply chains. It gets really complicated in the exact legal language, but it was enough that more than a few GOP senators who are pro-chips investment voted against the bill. Mostly, it seemed like standard issue Washington corruption. But apparently, at the bare minimum, the Biden administration did take notice. After Congress, on behalf of Chinese interests, took out anti-Chinese protections from the bill, they drafted and have now signed an executive order mimicking what that law would have originally done, beefing up one of the most important and unknown parts of the U.S. government, the Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States, known in D.C. by the acronym CFIUS. CFIUS has a mandate from Congress to block U.S. foreign investment in companies that have a direct impact on national security. Think like a Raytheon or a Northrop Grumman. It's been limited in scope, and critics like myself for years have alleged CFIUS has been approving transactions clearly designed to undermine the U.S., but have bowed to corporate pressure. A new order directs CFIUS to consider whether any pending deal in U.S. markets involves the purchase of a business to access with too American-sensitive data, and specifically whether data has dual-use purposes for business could also be exploited by a foreign government. This new direction comes amid a flurry of new signs the Biden administration, while far too slow to act in my opinion, may actually be considering either a total ban on TikTok or a forced sale of the Chinese company to one controlled by a U.S. corporation. The data provisions in CFIUS, in my opinion, should have been law years and years ago, and it also highlights how incompetent the Trump administration was. Remember when Trump said he would ban TikTok, but then he tried to do so in the dumbest way possible, resulting in the existence of the service and its continued domination in U.S. markets? Breaking points, remembers. Trump also failed on multiple occasions thanks to certain son-in-law to beef up CFIUS and continued review of U.S. investments in China. His incompetence aside, the case for banning or spanning TikTok off has been quadrupled in years since that was considered. To review, the case is actually quite simple. In China, there is no such thing as private business. National security laws in the books, which have already been used against TikTok's parent company ByteDance, make clear their data belongs to the Chinese state, not to them privately. They exist at the pleasure of the CCP and nothing more. Thus, when TikTok claims its data and its companies are separate from its overall Chinese operations, it's laughable. The basic truth is that one of the most used and most downloaded apps in the United States, especially amongst teenagers, is controlled directly by a foreign adversary. And the proof of this has been solid since 2019. But like I said, only grows day by day. In June, I covered that investigation that showed direct audio proof TikTok lied to the U.S. Congress about how it has processes in place to keep the Beijing parent company without control over TikTok. The audio proved internally TikTok routinely acknowledges how in control Beijing is of their day-to-day operations. And a new profile, though, of TikTok's quote-unquote CEO also hammers home this point. TikTok hired several CEOs in the last several years with a chief mission of fooling U.S. regulators and consumers that it is not straight up controlled by China. They first hired a longtime executive from the Walt Disney Company and since have hired Singaporean citizens Xiao Shi-chu. Now the smokescreen was, well, he's Singaporean, it's cool, it's a U.S. ally. Yet when you look under the hood, it's the exact same scenario. Chu, turns out, doesn't run the damn thing at TikTok. Decisions on everything from live streaming to shopping are made by Zhang Zhiming, the mysterious multi-billionaire founder of TikTok and ByteDance, its parent corporation. In fact, the most critical part of the company, TikTok's research and development team, as well as their growth and strategy team, report directly to Beijing, not to the CEO. They have no reporting lines whatsoever to the supposed CEO of the company. TikTok's shamelessness was best on display when their chief operating officer, who used to work at YouTube, testified before Congress on Thursday, where she would not definitively say that the company would cut off data and metadata flows to China. Just take a listen, her own words.
Can you make the commitment, though, that I just asked you to make, that you will commit to cutting off all data and metadata flows to China, Chinese-based TikTok employees, ByteDance employees, or any other party located in China?
What I can commit to is that our final agreement with the U.S. government will satisfy all national security concerns, yes.
But you won't make a commitment to agree to what I have now twice asked you about?
Sorry, given the confidentiality of CFIUS, I'm not able to talk
Forget
specifically about that
CFIUS.
agreement.
I'm not
but
talking about
happy
CFIUS. I'm
to-
asking
happy to
whether
share
you'd
more
make
when
that commitment
available.
today. Will you make that commitment?
I'm committing to what I've stated, which is we are working with the United States government on a resolve through the CFIUS process in which we will continue to minimize that data, as well as working with Oracle to protect that data in the United States.
That is corporate speak for no, we won't commit to it. So it's actually simple. The company claims that despite being wholly owned outright and controlled by China, they are not controlled by China. When asked under oath if they'll stop sending them data, they're not going to say yes. It seems cut and dry. The longer we draw this out, the more it makes a mockery of our country and how weak we are, that it has taken us this long to even get the conversation to a place where it is being considered. I'm just gonna end with this, a situation that should make it clear as day why TikTok either needs to go or needs to force sale now. In 2018, a Chinese news aggregator, which I'm not gonna try and pronounce, known as Chow Cho, owned and operated by ByteDance, the same company that owns TikTok, was literally shut down overnight, despite being one of the largest in the entire country of China. The reason why? Because the CCP said it was causing too much social disruption to their liking, and they just decided to nuke it overnight. In his bid to keep the job, Zhang Zhiming, the current controller of TikTok, wrote in an open letter in Chinese, here's what he wrote, quote, "The product has gone astray, posting content that goes against socialist core values. It's all on me. I accept all the punishment since it failed to direct public opinion in the right way." Do we need more proof? The guy literally said his content should promote CCP values and should, quote, direct public opinion in the way that they want it. If you think that isn't at play here in our country, when the same guy literally owns TikTok, you're delusional. TikTok needs to go or be spun off. Biden administration needs to capitalize on the newfound momentum and just do all of us a favor to make us safer. I mean, I just think it's very basic, Krystal. And look, I mean, I've come around to these.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.